Okay, thank you. Now, indeed, it is a pleasure to be back here. I must say, I'm honored. And I don't mean to sound big-headed, but this is cool because it's a great indictment of my unprofessional skills. I was here for the first annual. I was here for the third annual. And I'm invited back. Now, David called me a couple months ago and says, Bill, do you have any new material? I said, no. I was kidding. I don't need to make up new material when we live in the time that we live in today. Hey, what's the operative word in that title right there? Give me, what is the operative word? Nope. 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 Culture. Culture. Creating a world-class customer service culture. Now, let's take a real-life example. How would you like to be United Airlines right now? Huh? How do you think they did? They did bad. Do you know what happened to their market cap immediately upon that fiasco? They lost, anybody know? $1 billion worth of market cap because of that fiasco. Holy moly guacamole. You don't think customer service is important? A typical dissatisfied customer will tell 8 to 10 people about his or her problem. 1 in 5 will tell 20. Well, when the whole damn world knows that not only do you pull doctors off of planes, but 2 weeks later you kill rabbits. Did you hear that one? Huh? Am I making this up? No. Here's what they did. Somebody in America bought a very prized special breed of a rabbit from France. United shipped it over. They opened the crate and the damn thing was dead. Yeah. It just helps the customer service perception that the company has. I fly a lot in my business. I have over 2 million miles on Delta Airlines alone. And when Delta merged with Northwest, oh, Katie bar the door, you could tell the problems already. And when United merged with, who did United merge with? Continental is the truth. Yeah, that's it. I'm just checking to see if you're on. By the way, there's prizes for today. I want you to know there's prizes. You come up with a good idea, there's prizes. Table for one? Yeah, right this way, sir. Right here. Yeah, that's it. Table for one, right here. Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for being here. And thank you for making the commitment to be here. Okay, so look, here's what I want to try to do today, if I can, in the very short amount of time that I have. I want to give you some definitive action steps that you can take back to your companies. How many people here are CEOs or managers or owners of their company? Okay, some of these slides will apply to you. How many are not? Okay, some of these slides won't apply to you. You okay? Okay? It's hard to kind of make sure that there's so many things I got to tell you. Oh my God. Yesterday I arrived in town early. I went to a few wineries because I kind of scoped things out. I'm no connoisseur, I'm not. But when one of the employees at an unnamed winery turns to me and says, this bottle was rated 90 points in Wine Spectacular, I have a concern. Because there's no such thing as Wine Spectacular. What's it called? Wine Spectator. And if you're from Walla Walla, you understand that. But I'm going, oh my God, did they train that individual? Don't know. So I'm thinking that from time to time, we have to think about the image that we're creating in the eyes of our customer base. Am I going to be in trouble if I walk back and forth? Really? Okay, fine. Well, this will be a test for you. I think that the problem that United had, and may still have, and I hope that you don't have, is that if you're saying that you have a world-class customer service culture, and your actions and your behavior betrays that statement, then you have a problem. Am I making any sense? You can say one thing, but your actions speak louder. To coin an idiom in today's political environment, actions trump rhetoric. So you can say one thing and do another within your organization. It's interesting for me to talk to people who say, oh yeah, we have a customer service program, and then look at what they do. What's American Airlines doing? Well, they're moving their leg room from 31 inches to 29, just to make people happy. Excuse me. Now, I know that they're in the business to make money, and I know that profitability to the bottom line for the organization and for the share value for the share owners, it's critical. I know. But what do you think United is going to have to do to come back from that fiasco? It'll be years. It'll be years. Well, in a small business, you can't afford years. Am I making any sense? All right, so just checking. So here's what I want all of your employees to look like when they wake up in the morning, excited as all get out to be a great deliverer of customer service. If, in fact, I were to tell you a couple stories about, oh, here's one from yesterday, once again. You live in a small community, and I'm guessing that you all help out each other in sending people to some of the other businesses in town because they win, we all win. Is that true? Yes. Okay, now, I don't mean to be disrespectful, and I'm not going to tell you where it happened, but on one of my stops yesterday, searching for a couple of prizes that I could give out today, which is a free tasting at some of the wineries in the area, I told them what I was going to do, so they were more than willing to assist me because they need the exposure, right? So at one of the wineries I stopped at, I just mentioned that I had come from one of the other wineries. Now, I'm not going to mention it by name because this is a true story and I don't want to get in any more trouble than I normally am in. But one of the people that's behind the tasting bar of the winery in which I am presently standing, I mentioned the winery that just gave me a free tasting. The comment from that individual, whether or not it had been a man or a woman, was, oh, they're really snooty over there. Help me, Rhonda. It's a song. I said that one time in Washington, D.C., and a young lady in the front row goes, oh, that's my name. Now, I was taken aback by that comment only because I'm attuned to customer service and everywhere where it's created. Fact doesn't matter, perception does. Got it? If you are supporting everybody in town, then they're supporting you. And if you're not, then you're not a player. So I would question what you are allowing your own employees to be doing and saying. The fact that somebody in a tasting room thinks that wine spectacular is appropriate just kills me. So, now here comes our game. I have given enough presentations and heard enough presentations where buzzwords bug me, as I'm sure they do you. So here's the deal. I'm going to give you 5 words, and if I say all 5 today, the first person to raise their hand and say bingo, you get a free tasting at one of the wineries I visited yesterday. Okay, and here are my favorite 5. Paradigm shift. You've heard it how many times? I think United is in the middle of one, frankly. Empower. Do you empower your... No, that doesn't count. That one doesn't count. From after this slide, they start counting, okay? You're already adding up the hash marks, aren't you? Empathize. Exceed customer expectations. There's my favorite. Under-promise and over-deliver. Do you ever hear any of these in your own working environment? No. Yeah? Well, the last one I left blank, but I'm going to have you fill it in the interest of time. Just write in synergy and forget it. That's a favorite as well. So I think you need a recipe for creating a customer service culture and recognize that it's not a one-man job. Now, this analogy might not work for everybody here, but we'll give it a go. By a show of hands, how many people here, men or women, played baseball? Okay, fine. So here comes the test. Help me out. Scores tied 2-2. It's the 9th inning, 10th inning. There's a runner at second. Batter hits the ball to deep center. What does the pitcher do if he's been trained? Anybody? Who said home plate? I'll vote for home plate. That could be the first award of the day. That could be the first award of the day. Let's see here. Let's go to a free wine tasting at Three Rivers. You have to be.
She's a female winemaker. We like that.
Well, hot damn, I'm gender appropriate. I'm glad you got that in. So, customer service is not a one-man job, it's everybody. Because if you had 1 or 2 people in your organization that were not delivering the service that you need to be, here's one. I want you to know that I've actually gone to some of your websites because I got a list of who was coming. Yeah. Now, it was on my own time. I didn't get paid to do this, but I wanted to make a point with you. Listen, I don't know if that individual or that company is in the room, but I must tell you that when you accept reviews and you put reviews onto your website, please note that it's very critical that you change those reviews on a fairly regular basis. Like the one that I'm referring to, who once again shall remain anonymous. Don't all of you go back and look at your websites and your reviews. But there's one company in this town who has a website, nicely done. The reviews are the same date for all 3, and the date is August 12th, 2014. Now, if I'm perusing the web and I look up the reviews from your company, or by the customers that have visited your company, would I be concerned at all that that hasn't changed in 3 years? Say yes. Yeah. So I'm thinking that it's not a one-man job, it's an every-man job, and your employees need to recognize the value they bring to the table. This is a picture taken of the first annual Walla Business Summit. How many here by show of hands know David Wilson? You know David? Okay. This is David before 5 years ago. And as long as we're talking about something locally here and the value that each of your organizations brings to other organizations within your community, is it okay if I put in a plug for where I had dinner last night? Is that okay? Would that be inappropriate? Is that right? Okay, good. Thanks. Because I was incredibly impressed. I mean, really impressed. I had dinner last night at Saffron. And if you have never been there, I strongly encourage you to go. If you ever have family or guests come to town, I strongly encourage it. And I used to be in the restaurant business in a previous life. So I'm a connoisseur of fine food, and they do a great job. So that's my plug for one of your local businesses, for which I was not paid, by the way. Nor did they comp me anything last night when I told them I was a speaker here today. But I want you to take a look at this word right here and apply it to your businesses. To what degree do you believe that you have your employees engaged in recognizing what customer service is and the value they bring to the table in so doing? I mean everybody. I mean everybody. If it's a restaurant, it's the back of the room. It's the kitchen. It's how the food's prepared in the kitchen before it's served. It's the busboy that walks by your table and doesn't pick up anything for 20 minutes and makes 12 trips by your table. Am I making any sense? It's everybody. So my question to you is, what steps have you taken to make sure that your employees are totally engaged in the image that the customer has of our organization? Am I greeted effectively? Am I greeted with eye contact? I'll be right with you. Thanks for coming in. Do your employees thank people for coming in, or thank them for their business. And it is amazing to me what some people don't realize they're doing when they're doing it. Case in point, I love my wife of 46 years, but I swear she speaks 87 different languages and need not open her mouth. Do you know what I mean? You got it. You're the only one in the room that got it. There's no extra points for that laughter. I mean that she has facial expressions that are incredible, that speak volumes, right? So let's say that we have Tiffany and Kathy standing together somewhere in a bank. They're employees of the bank. I hope you don't work for a bank.
I do, but it's okay.
And I am the customer. And I walk up, and they don't know that I've kind of entered their workspace, and they're having a little discussion. And Tiffany turns away from Kathy, doesn't say anything, but in my presence, rolls her eyes and just kind of goes and walks away. Has Tiffany said a lot? Yeah, like, oh my God, how dizzy could she be? Or whatever my impression was of that facial expression, right? Well, I saw that. I saw that. I was a customer, and I saw that. Now, they might not have thought that I saw it, but I saw it. So there's so many times during the course of your workday that your employees are creating images in the eyes of your customer that you don't even know about. And so I would suggest that from time to time you note that and take a hard look at that within your own organization. Am I making any sense here at all? Okay, all right. Here, I like this one. It doesn't matter what you're selling. It matters how your folks interact with your customers. And frankly, we're all in sales. We are all in sales. Years ago, I worked for a particular bank who shall remain anonymous, but their initials were a B and an A. And they decided to move all of their home loan lending out of their bank branches and into separate home loan centers. You with me so far? Yep. Well, those people that had been heretofore working in the bank just had a mindset that they weren't in sales. I'm not in sales. Somebody would come in and apply for a mortgage loan, they'd sit right at my desk, and I'd just sit here all day and take care of them. No. So I'm thinking that where your employees interact with the customer is much more important than what in the world you are selling. This is a picture of the current United Airlines CEO, thinking that he has everything handled. Oh my goodness, I don't think so. No. Who's Richard Branson?
It's the Virgin Airlines.
Virgin Airlines. Oh, you're going for extra points, but that was an easy one. Don't think so. You're correct. Here's a quote from Richard Branson. Do you agree? So now let's talk about those United employees. What happens to common sense when customer service is applied? Those United employees were so concerned about company policy that they had to go by the book and pull the poor doctor off the plane because it was by the book. It's not our policy. It's by the book. You got to stay by the book. No, you don't. But if you don't have the culture within your organization to allow your employees that latitude, that's what you end up with, right? So common sense went out the window for that particular example. I don't care if you want to offer somebody 10 grand to get on another plane or not get on this one. 10 grand versus losing $1 billion in market cap or market, That's a no-brainer, isn't it? I would think so, yeah. So, identify and what?
Educate.
And train. What's the operative word there? I'm going to say it is, anybody? Train. We hire people, we put them on the floor so that we can whine spectacular. And in so doing, we've gone backwards. We've gone backwards. and the amount of time that it would have taken, there should be a criteria. Let me ask you this. All of you represent a particular organization. Say yes. These are not hard questions. I need an audible response. You all represent a particular organization. Say yes. Yes. All right. Question. Do you have a set format for before that individual is put in that position, these are the steps they must master? Yes. Okay, that wasn't everybody. So I'm assuming that some people in this room don't have a process like that. I know it's time consuming. I know it's costly, but how much could it cost if you are losing customers in the long run? It would be a wise investment, would it not? I mean, yeah, wine spectacular. I couldn't make up stories like that. Seriously, I couldn't make up. In my wildest dreams, I'd have to hallucinate and eat inappropriate mushrooms to come up with that example. Honestly, just fractures me. So, here's another thought too. I'm ahead of myself and apologize for so doing, but you thank your customers for their business, yes? How many people here, by a show of hands, have a Facebook page for their company? Okay. Yeah, I mean for their company. I don't mean your personal Facebook page. And frankly, I don't care where you had dinner last night, and I want you to know I didn't take a picture of my dinner and post it. Okay? My wife and I were fortunate enough a couple weeks ago to go to Hawaii. Can you tell? That's where I field tested my compatibility with my cell phone and salt water. At any rate, the beach that we're on, which shall remain anonymous because I don't want to be big-headed, had a sailing canoe, like an outrigger, yeah? With a little triangular-shaped sail, kind of like Thor Heyerdahl's Kon-Tiki. You got the picture? Got the picture?
Yes.
We get off the boat. Koka, the captain, character, mentions to all 6 guests on board that he would appreciate if, in fact, we enjoyed our day, and who wouldn't? I mean, for Pete's sakes, you're out snorkeling with turtles and dolphins. Who wouldn't? He asked every one of us individually and thanked us as he shook our hand as we got off the plane. The plane. Oh.
How many mushrooms?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, that's good. But here's what he said. He said, I would appreciate it if you would take the time to acknowledge your voyage and the fun that you had aboard the Hawaii sails and put it onto our website. Would you do that for us? Well, he was so kind in his gesture and so polite in his request. I said in a heartbeat, done. And I went immediately back to my house that night and wrote the following. Disclaimer, I'm not related to the crew. I'm not being paid for this review, and I'm currently sober. Look it up. That's what I wrote. And then I wrote a beautiful review about the fun that we had. Less than 24 hours later, there is a response to my review. Now, I don't know who you have monitoring your Facebook page, if in fact you have anybody monitoring your Facebook page. But if in fact you're going to have one, then do it and use it right, or don't do it at all. So I don't know how often you check it, but just that's a thought. I wondered, and every one of those reviews are dated. So you know who was there last, and you know how fast they wrote their review. I mean, do boom, boom, and you know how fast that response was made. Now, my last slide, which we may not get to because I'm having so much fun, says, Mayday, Mayday, Yelp. Well, what's the emergency call sign if you're on a boat and you're in trouble? Mayday. You call the Coast Guard, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Right. Well, I say that to you if you're in trouble because there are some websites that can write reviews for you that may or may not be in your best interest. Is that not true? Well, I think you need to... Did you want a live shot? Here.
Yes, I do.
Here. Okay. All right. Hold on. Okay, go.
Ready? Okay, wait. Okay. There you go.
Okay, good. All right. All right. No, don't. No. No, hashtag. Oh, God. I am too old for hashtags. Let me tell you. I just got a new iPhone. I don't even know how to turn it on. But my point to you on a Facebook page, if you're going to have something that is going to begin marketing you and creating an image of your company in the eyes of your consumer base, your customer base, then monitor it for Pete's sakes. Right? Okay, just checking. Where to go? Where to go? Oh, good Lord, thanks. No extra points for that one. Let's see where we're going now. Branson, yeah, oh yeah. Here's a favorite quote that I believe to be true, and certainly the winery I visited yesterday should have it posted. Is that true? Oh, by the way, those of you who think you're going to write the whole thing down, please recognize that you need not even take a picture with your phone. I have made the commitment to the Walla Walla Chamber that every one of these slides will be available next week on their website. So should you wish to share any of this with anyone with whom you work or someone that's not here that wished to be here, you're certainly more than welcome to do that. So save you the writing trouble.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay. Let me ask you, are your employees made to feel engaged and involved? And if so, how? Do you ever solicit their input? Do you have a goal internally that says every customer interaction is a 4X? Let me run that idea by you. Tell me what you think of it. I used to be in the restaurant business years ago. And I said to my staff that every time you serve a table and every time they depart this restaurant, your goal ought to be 4X. That means your goal is to get them back here at least 4 times. Well, if that's the mindset that your employees have, then they're going to think twice about walking by my table and ignoring my empty plate for 20 minutes, right? So my question to you, really, I think there's no magic formula here for customer service. It is the little things that all add up. And it is the little things that you do that create the image and the message that ultimately creates the culture for your company. Do you have your employees engaged and involved? And if so, how do you do that? And if not, then how could you do that? Now, I'm going to take a couple input from the audience, if I may. Don't be alarmed, it won't hurt. But if you feel that you have your employees involved, if you don't mind me asking, how are you doing that? What steps are you taking to involve your employees? Thank you for your input. Go.
So we do a couple of things. We do a lot of events, and we have team meetings about those events, about improvement, about resident feedback, things like that. I manage an apartment complex. In addition to that, we do lots of fun things within our little team. We do lunches, coffee, donuts, whatever it may be, every couple of weeks. And this week we actually just started a competition to see who can get the most leases. So we've got a little friendly competition going with them on our side.
Fun, all good ideas. Anything to increase the camaraderie, the willingness to help out each other. I think there's 2 kinds of employees. Here's one. I'm the best waiter there is here. I get more tips than anybody else. I'm not going to help anybody in any other section of the restaurant because it doesn't help me. You know, that kind of person. Then obviously the other side of that coin is just the exact opposite. I'll help anybody anywhere because if the house wins, we all win. Right? So, If you have some bad apples within the organization, sometimes that attitude is contagious. I want to be around people who have the attitude, what will it take to make it work? Please don't tell me why it won't work. I don't want to know why it won't work. Well, we never done it that way before. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. So, I ask you what you're doing with your employees. And what action steps prove that you have a world-class customer service mission? Do your action steps belie or support your commitment for world-class customer service? Good question. Do our action steps belie or support? What do you think for your company? Anybody say belie? Well, who in a room full of their peers would acknowledge the fact that they need help? Yeah, nobody. Okay, I like that statement a lot. So here's another thought I have for you, and I think it's true. Could you be standing in the way of your business achieving its full potential? What do you think? Is that a yes, a no, or a maybe? What do you want? I got a yes. How many say yes? How many say no? Okay, that's not very, only one person voted. Who in here doesn't really give a rip? I respectfully suggest that even though your actions are well-intentioned, in some cases, you are standing in the way. Pause for effect. Did you catch the pause for effect? Yeah. So, how you doing on that one? You doing okay on that one? Is there another way we could do this? Is there another way that we could pull this off and still get done what we need to get done? How could we make this into a training opportunity for our employees and not hurt the bottom line or the time that we spend with the customer? Ask more questions than you're currently asking. A lot of people are resistant to new ideas because, well, they've been here forever. They think that they have the solid foundation for it's always worked this way. Why change it? When the world around them is changing rapidly. So those folks that are so ingrained in resistance to change, you are not going to change them overnight. Believe me. Oh, you've already tried. You know that. So instead of trying to hit them over the head with a baseball bat, I strongly suggest that you beat them every day with a toothpick.
Gently.
Gently. And sooner or later, you'll get them to where you need them to be. But we have to recognize that resistance to new ideas is a detriment to your overall success. I think you need to step out of your own way. One of the clients that I have recently worked with is, once again, the manager of a restaurant. And so I spent some time in his restaurant not long ago and talked to some of the employees during the course of my afternoon there. And I came to the startling conclusion that this manager was a victim of the only I can do it syndrome. You know it? And in so doing, he is undermining the ability to build the skill levels, mushrooms. The skill levels necessary for his staff to build up their core competencies, because he's trying to do it all, number one. Number two, as he skitters around like a chicken with his head cut off, he is sending an image not only to his staff but to the dining patrons that this guy is just like wacko. Well, so I think, and of course my challenge now is to figure out how in the world I'm going to tell him that, which ain't going to be easy. But I do think that he is undermining the overall success of the organization, but unwittingly doing so. Yeah? Right. Okay, just checking. There's another one. I don't like change. People don't like change because they're fear of failure, fear of rejection. Well, this way seems to have been working. Can't we just keep doing this one, this way? No. But it takes a strong individual to be able to call the game on some of the people that are carrying out that particular behavior. That one cracks me up. That's not true. It's not true. Build it and they will come. No. Not true. I think what's important, though, is you have to empower your employees to recognize.
Bingo.
No, not bingo. You need all 5 for bingo. God, this is a tough audience. Oh, holy crap. Oh, Lord. Yeah, there's another one that cracks me up, which is why I mentioned my friend in the city I'm not going to mention, because he doesn't want to delegate anything. Well, what could you delegate 1 or 2 things and get them off your plate? And if you did get them off your plate, how much more time would you have to do other things that are more critical to your business? How much time do you spend out in your community building the market perception of this organization? Oh, I'm way too busy. I'm way too busy. Oh, really? Well, where would your time be more valuable? Oh. Well, there's a thought. This is the manager of the restaurant I'm talking about. And that's his staff. Seriously. And that's one of his staff members and a customer addressing key customer service skills. So, here comes a couple slides that will not apply to everybody here, but they'll be on the website if you want them, and if you want to ignore them, do not get up and leave the room. There's still extra points. Who's got extra points so far? 1, 2, those are the, okay, so I have 3 more. Oh, 4 more. Okay, good. So, I think it's important that you empower. You got that? Okay, and I also think that some of you need to get through a little bit of a paradigm shift. You need to change your thinking. You need to really take a look at, let's do this differently. Let's not get hung up on how we've always done it. Let's find 2 or 3 different ways we could do this and pick out the best way. Let's ask our employees which one of those 2 or 3 ways they think would be best and have them tell us why they think it would be best, because their input and their buy-in is critical. And if you're not asking them, then they don't feel part of the game. Does that make sense? All right. So, have you identified 3 ways to say thank you to your customers? Let's do that. Let's just figure that out real quick like a bunny. I got to tell you a quick story. I've been blessed with 3 beautiful kids, Willie, Kyle, and Kelly. Willie is a graduate of the University of Washington, a degree in business administration, and his first 5 years upon graduation, he was a fly fishing guide in Montana. My son Kyle is a graduate of Washington State University, where he attempted to major in microbrewery. They don't have that program there. and my daughter Kelly Lynn, God bless her, special little girl, just 20 months ago had a baby boy. But when she was about, I don't know, 6 or 7, she asked me to do something. And she had just taken a bite of an apple and asked me to do something. And I had not moved off the couch as rapidly as she requested. And she went, I said, what the heck was that? And she goes, quick like a bunny. So to this day, honest to God, To this day, every time I say that, I think of her doing that. It's the greatest visual ever for my little girl. But let's talk about ways to say thank you. Seriously, now you can. How do you do it? Come on. You're telling me that you thank your customers for their business. Okay, how do you do that?
You say thank you for your business.
Well, okay, good. Do you say that to them in person? Do you ever put your customers in an ad that you run?
Oh, yeah.
Fine, that would be a way to say thank you. Do you ever put up testimonials from your customers and change it once a week so when people come in, they look at the latest testimonial of who wrote what about your company? Ever done that? I mean, get creative on coming up with ways to say thank you to your customers. Go.
My dad owns a business in Pomeroy, and during Christmas time, they have window displays, and he does a naughty and nice list, or Santa's naughty and nice list, and he really gets people going with who is on, and it's all of his regular customers.
Oh.
And the snarky ones are on the naughty list. No, but it's funny because it's like a tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, the snarkies are on the naughty list. And all of the hoity-toity good people see the snarky list, huh? Well, that's an interesting approach. I think that sometimes I have said in previous presentations, I think the downside risk of doing so is greater than the upside potential of doing so. On that idea, that would be my call. I know it's fun and they have a fun time with it, but yeah, interesting. Yes, go.
One of the things we do is we do a resident event at least once a month. We try to do it more frequently, but something to let the residents know how much we appreciate what they're doing, how much they enjoy it, them talking well about us in the community. Whether it's a dinner, a game day, a barbecue, something, changing it up regularly, something just for the residents.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, go.
We send handwritten notes, so we use snail mail. We've gone back to that, not just emails or otherwise.
Handwritten, personalized, handwritten snail mail notes. Go.
I also like
Hand thank yous. Yeah, I like it. Why? Well, because nobody does it anymore. So it differentiates you from the masses, right? I used to have a famous saying, observe what the masses do and do the opposite. Don't do the same thing that everybody else is doing. You're nuts too. I don't want to take a lot more time on saying thank you to the customer, but I do challenge you to go back to your respective work environments and say, hey, team, how do we say thank you? How and when do we say thank you? Do we say it often enough? Do we know our customers' names, and if so, do we use them? Little things all add up, right? And if you get their input, I mean, have a contest. Have a contest amongst all of your employees and say, hey, let's come up with just a bunch of votes on ideas on how to say thank you and when. And put them in a hat. Put them in a hat. And then draw one out and say to your audience, as long as you don't throw up when I read your idea, no one will know it's yours. And make a game of it. Pick out the best one. I don't care, but let's get on this. Things are tough. Things are tough. I know. Weather's been bad. We value every customer we can possibly have and need 3 more behind them every day. I know. But what steps are you doing to get those 3 more every day? And are you doing as much as you could be? Which is why you're here. Thank you very much. Who here has heard me before? Okay. There's only 5 slides in this whole presentation that are the same. 4 of them are those old-fashioned pictures. So I'm trying to not give you the same thing that we've done before. Pet peeve. Pet peeve. Do you notice that I don't read these slides to you? I figure you can read. It's another pet peeve. A speaker that has slides and then turns around and reads the slide. No, you can read. If you don't want to read it, then don't read it. I don't give a rip. But it's true. It's true. But that is critically important. Critically important. And so many of our employees sometimes will answer the phone and then try to ski-daddle and not accept responsibility for getting it covered. Let somebody else worry about it. It's not my job. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. Big time. And so we have to do a better job all the way around on some of these issues. So I like the idea of getting together with your crew and fine-tuning where you can fine-tune. Do you think that as a result of today's session, you could go back to your working environments and find at least 3 or 4 action steps that you could implement immediately? Could you? Raise your hand. Fine. Thank you. Pet peeve. Pet peeve. Do you agree? If you're not serving the customer directly, you're serving someone who is. Okay, let's take a bank. Bankers, raise your hand. All right. Do you have mortgage divisions in your bank?
Yes.
All right. And you have mortgage loan officers, yeah? And those loan officers probably have a greater degree of contact with the borrower than some of the people in the back room. Is that true? Just say yes.
Yes.
Okay. So a processor or someone that works the back room as far as the paperwork necessary to complete that loan application correctly, that person does not necessarily work directly with the customer or the borrower. Is that true? True. So if you're not serving the customer directly, you better be serving someone who is. Do we have that type of team environment within all of your organizations? If so, great, more power to you. If not, well, maybe we can fine-tune. All right, now here come the 10 metrics that I think you need to work on. I'm going to go through this relatively quickly. Don't be alarmed. The slides are going to be on the website. And I only bring this up because I don't think that some of us are monitoring what we need to be monitoring. Are we measuring what we need to measure? Are we watching our organization to the degree that we should be as an owner? Now, this is more an owner than a manager or an employee. So, here are things that I think you need to keep an eye on, obviously. Sales revenue, if you're in the retail business, that would be important. Yep. Customer loyalty and retention ought to be a kicker for you. How about cost of customer acquisition? For many of your businesses, that's a major. How do you measure that? Do you measure that? Do you make anyone aware of the fact that that is an issue? I said to a client the other day, I said, you know what Kathy here does for your organization within this community is incredible. I mean, the marketing that she does on an individual basis. I'm not talking about advertising. I'm not talking about cable TV. I'm not talking about, no. What Kathy does in this community to increase the knowledge of this community has about this business is invaluable. Well, that's part of the cost of acquisition. There's a numeric value to that. Operating productivity is another one. Your gross margin for those organizations that monitor such things. Customer loyalty rate, is that a duplicate?
Yes.
Oh, my fault. What? Mushrooms. Your overhead cost, your variable cost percentage. So, inventory size and hours worked per process. How long does it take us to get done what we need to get done? Is there a way we could cut down on that? Is there a way we could do it more effectively, more efficiently? Could we move this idea over here and get that done earlier in the ball game so that we don't take so much time in the long run? Little things, right? Little things. Now, I have defined every one of those for you because I realize that you are all not CPAs in this room. And I also know that it's way too much for you to go through right now, but I want you to know that every one of those categories is defined. So I tell you how to figure it out if you don't know how to figure it out. You got it? But my goal, anytime I make a presentation, goes like this. Start on time, end early. Is that how you run your meetings? Do you ever wait for the last person to get in the room? Oh, Mary's not here yet. We have to wait for Mary. No, we don't. No, we don't. The people that are here on time, it's disrespectful to them to have them wait for Mary if she can't get her act together. Start on time, end early, right? Do you ever have meetings? Do you have meetings in your company? Say yes. Yes. Do you spend more time on what's going right or what's going wrong? Did you notice the vocal spontaneity? Did you catch that? It was incredible, incredibly powerful. Lord Almighty, it just blew me away. Well, that's because in a room full of your peers, you don't want to admit the fact that maybe we're spending too much time on what's going wrong. But somebody's doing something right. Create a moment of time in your meetings where, hey, what are we doing right? Let's give somebody credit for doing something right. Have a 3-minute doing right segment of your meetings. I don't care. But so often we spend too much time negatively. I do say that this is true. What you don't measure probably won't happen. So what you do measure will happen. So what is it that you're measuring? Ask yourself. The other question is, are we and am I measuring the correct information, the correct metrics to give me the picture I need to have? If so, great. If not, then fine tune. Yeah. So I think it's also important that you empathize with your employees. No, really. You need to stop and consider, I mean, they're in a tight squeeze. I know that they recognize the value of their employment because those jobs are not easy to find. So we have to consider where they fall in the great scheme of things. And if they don't feel that they're wanted, appreciated, or valued, then you're losing their capability and the value that they could bring to the company. What steps are you doing and taking to make your employees feel valued? Do you tell them, oh, you're one of our best employees. I just love you. No. How about a Starbucks card every once in a while? How about bring a hose to work and wash their car? Get creative, will you please? Help your team help you. Help your team realize how much you value them, because you will not have a world-class customer service culture unless you have that piece of the puzzle handled. All right? Scary thought. Scary thought on the screen right there. Scary thought. Typical dissatisfied customer will tell how many? 8 to 10. 1 in 5 will tell how many? 20. Yeah, scary. Here's another scary thought. Yeah, so it only takes one. Only takes one. So it's really, really important that you recognize, that your staff recognizes the importance of under-promising and over-delivering. It's critical that you get that done. And I think once you have done that, with a high degree of synergy. Bingo. Oh, bingo, we got a bingo. We got a bingo? Ho.
We got a bingo.
You got a bingo. There you go. Free wine tasting. Huh? You must be a wino. Free wine tasting.
Thank you.
All right. Who in here has a birthday closest to March 28th? What is it?
March 27th.
Well, then, that's about as close as you can get.
Thank you.
Who in here has a birthday closest to my little girl's birthday, May 9th? Oh. Yes, thank you very much.
It's my mom's birthday.
May 9th and May 6th. This is the winningest table here today. Congratulations. All right. All right. I don't know what your expectations were coming into today and attending the 5th annual Walla Walla Business Summit, but I hope in some small way I have increased your willingness to address the issue and your desire to take some action steps upon your return to your working environment. I thank you very much for your attention. Have a great afternoon this afternoon. Great to be here. Thank you.